Now, it's going to be nothing less than a diplomatic tightrope as the Chinese president heads to Russia. Moscow is gearing up for one of the most high-level visits in recent times, and the world is eagerly waiting to decode the outcome. Now, there is only one key question being asked at the moment. Can China play the peacemaker in the Ukraine-Russia war? Something that Beijing refuses to even call a war. Xi Jinping has been extra careful about his wording on the war. He has refused to blame Russia for the invasion. His peace plan talks nothing about Russian forces retreating, and at a time when most of the world sees Russia like a pariah, China has extended its diplomatic hand. To many experts, this looks like a pro-Russian stance on the war. But there is another side to it as well, where the Chinese leader looks interested in speaking with his Ukrainian counterpart, where Beijing has called for immediate peace through diplomacy, and a side where some European leaders have shown interest in China's plans. Now, there is no doubt that Xi's visit to Moscow is nothing short of a power play. China and Russia are standing in unison, directly staring at the United States. This meeting will be a physical version of no-limit partnership. China is already Russia's biggest buyer of oil. Bilateral trade has soared in recent months, and there are even talks of Beijing mulling over sending arms to Moscow. Diplomacy is never without a motive. So what is in this for China? That's the next big question. Well, Beijing is clearly re-emerging on the global stage. Apart from chip making and leading in labor market, this time the aim is at diplomacy. After brokering a peace deal between West Asia's two worst rivals, now it is eyeing the Ukraine-Russia war. Something that the West has failed to do in the past 1 year at least.
Him going to Moscow at this time provides a really important signal of his continued support for Putin. And of course, that is designed to show the United States in particular that these two countries are aligned, that they have this deep partnership, and that they stand in opposition to the United States, that they are united in pushing back against U.S. and Western influence that they see as limiting their power on the international stage and is designed to contain both of their countries. So yes, again, I think in many ways, this is part of a more assertive Xi Jinping, right? So as he's personalized power at home, I think, it's clear that he's moving in a more confrontational, more assertive direction.
The war in Ukraine can make or break Russia-China relations. Tomorrow's high-level visit will reveal which one it will be. Now, for more on this, we are joined by Ruslan Botnik, who is the director of the Ukrainian Institute of Politics. Welcome to Beyond, sir.
Hello, colleagues.
Ruslan, after China brokered the Iran-Saudi deal last week, some countries and analysts think China may play a similar role in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Now, can China be a mediator? That's the question. What do you feel?
Can China be a successful mediator? This is the main thing for me, because China's proposition for peaceful negotiation between Ukraine and Russia is not acceptable today for Ukraine and for United States, our partners. Because China propositions, the first step is teasing the fire, freezing the conflict, which means something like keeping for the Russia occupied territory of Ukraine. And White House today and a few days before, Ukrainian president said that this scenario is unacceptable for Ukraine nowadays. But so I think the main goal of this visit of Xi Jinping to Russia is not only about the Ukraine and the Ukrainian-Russian war, but also it's a big part, new stage of competition between China and United States. Xi Jinping will try to take the support from the Russian side for his peaceful proposition and to show the world, for example, for the Asia, Africa, Latin America, that China is supporting the peace against in the time when the United States supporting the war.
Ruslan, the ongoing war will be at the core of this meeting. There's no doubt in that. But what else can we expect from this meet? What do you feel?
We should wait for two main things. The first thing, tomorrow, both sides, President of Russia and leader of China, will publish the program article in their newspaper about the China-Russian relations. It will be very interesting what will they write down then. And there was other very important thing. We should to calculate the composition of the delegation of the sides, and it shows us what they are going to talk about. It looks like they are going to talk about two main things: military, political cooperation. So we see there the Ministry of Defense, the head of special company for military export, and so on. And a great part of economical cooperation between the Russia and China is so. Two main agreements they are going to sign, and 10 smaller deals as it is announced in the Russian mass media now.
Ruslan, and I have to ask you this now, Ukraine had shown interest in China's peace plan. And there has been regular talks between the foreign ministers of the two nations. How does that impact Kiev's relations with Washington?
Nowadays, we are very carefully with this China proposition. We are not hurrying up to just decline them at all, because China is very important economical partner for Ukraine, and we will be very careful. We will try to tie China this political dialogue, and we are waiting for the phone conversation between Zelensky and Xi Jinping, which was announced before. At the same time, it looks like this China proposition should be a very hard part of dialogue between Ukraine and the United States. Sometimes our positions in this situation will not be suitable.
Thank you for all those updates, Ruslan. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.